So in this game, we're going to be taking a look at me playing Alistar with Vel'Koz in the bottom lane against Pyke and Kai'Sa. And I would say this is a very interesting matchup and a very uncommon matchup, seeing Vel'Koz in the bottom lane, especially as an APC and not as a support. So a very interesting dynamic in the bottom lane, a very interesting matchup that we're going to be taking a look at here. And I see a lot of people, they really despise it when someone picks something uncommon like a Vel'Koz APC. But personally, I love seeing those picks, and I especially love getting them on my team because usually, not always, but usually that person probably mains it, even if the person doesn't main it and is just, maybe decent at the pick and at the role, just because it's so uncommon usually does give you an advantage. Just because it is so uncommon and it really catches your opponent off guard. So I love playing with these players, and when these players make these picks, these uncommon picks in uncommon lanes, I really like it. I really enjoy playing with, especially specifically in the bottom lane with these uncommon picks. Notice that I'm aggroing the blue buff here too, just to tank a bit of damage. I think most supports probably wouldn't tank 2 hits, but I normally do. And I also cancel one of the attack animations off the blue buff with my Q. I always do that when I leash. Vel'Koz did not help, I'm not sure why, but yeah. And the matchup with against Pyke when you're playing Alistar is also very interesting. This is very good, proccing my Aftershock here, just get a bit more damage, but they have very good early game damage, and I did overextend. I was maybe a bit too confident there, so that was my bad, but it was really a very good sequence of a very good ability sequencing, in which I used my Q and I got my Aftershock and I applied that damage to Pyke. So it was the proper way of the proper trade based on the situation that I was in, but it was not the right call to overextend like that, and that's why I had to blow an early flash. So they got the level 2 advantage, they got level 2 before us, and when the opponent does get level 2 before you, you need to respect that. And that was also definitely, in part my fault, because I didn't auto-attack the wave, and I also, forced myself in a bad situation, which meant that I had to flash. Vel'Koz flashes. That was actually a very good ignite by Pyke. If you just see how, you see how low Vel'Koz got there, and if Kai'Sa had a bit more confidence, if maybe they had a bit more synergy, if she just flash autoed, she would have killed him. So it was actually a good sneaky ignite by Pyke there. And right now I'm just soaking up the EXP, trying to last hit just to get that extra gold. This is not a threat because he will tank the turret, and there's nothing they can do here. If Kai'Sa did try to make a play, I would have WQ'd her and she would have died under turret. So, no threat, no danger there. Vel'Koz comes back to lane full HP. He probably bought an item. Yeah, you can see he bought the ruby, not the ruby crystal, the sapphire crystal for mana, and a couple of pots. So, and I recall I get my boots, which means that I can roam, possibly. Roaming is essential to carrying, and that's why I sometimes like to recall, maybe even at, maybe not even at necessarily the correct time, but at a time that is maybe unpredictable. I try to be unpredictable because even though when you do things incorrectly and you're being unpredictable, that in itself can be an advantage. You see, they have a pink ward in the river bush here, but here's the thing: if they are not paying attention to the map, it doesn't matter if they have that ward there. It doesn't matter if they have vision if they don't pay attention to the map. That's something you always want to be wary of. You need to know, I might be walking on a ward here, but even if I am, that doesn't necessarily mean the enemy is paying attention and that they notice. And even if they notice, or some of them notice, maybe not the lane that you're ganking. If you're trying to go top lane and gank, maybe that their top laner isn't paying attention. Again, I wanted Vel'Koz to follow up there. Maybe it was a bit too ambitious. I mean, they do have a big wave built up. I wanted to make something happen, and that was what I did there. Was a mindset thing. It's kind of going to the extreme, which is I want to carry. So that's why I'm trying to see if there is an opportunity, if there is something that I can do, some sort of outplay that I can make. But of course, sometimes that means that you will die and you will lose advantages, and but that is part of the game. At least that is my philosophy. And I mean, you see, this is what's happening right now. We get Kai'Sa, she flashes, so we can time the flash. And I dodged Pyke's E there, the animation of his E. Udyr flashing was probably unnecessary. It was good but it was good putting pressure on Pyke to get his flash. So we got both Pyke and Kai'Sa's flash. Very good exchange. So I died earlier, but we turned it around. And right now we got a freeze set up because their wave is bigger than ours and has been building up. A wave is never, completely frozen. It's always going to push back, but it's a really good spot for Vel'Koz to have safety and farm. Trying to, based on Yasuo's movement, I'm trying to set up a gank here. Based on his movement, I'm thinking, maybe he does have vision. But I go back, I stand in this bush, which is very good when you're on red side to gank mid lane. But the timing is not 100% there. My timing is not there. Yasuo also has a wind wall to block Serath's E. And but I still get something out of this. I put a bit of pressure on him. I just make him wary of my presence, and I put a deep ward in their jungle. And then this happens, which puts me in a really good spot to make a play. And with Pyke's W, there's not much I can do against him, but punishing Kai'Sa for her, or both Pyke and Kai'Sa for pushing up the bot lane because I'm not there, is very good, and that's what you want to do as when you're roaming. It doesn't even matter, even if I was Syra or Brand or whatever, like, of course you would need to be more careful, but it's the same principle, which is, you roam and then they push up because you're roaming, you're applying pressure in other lanes and maybe even against, in their jungle, around the map, and they see that and they think we need to take advantage of that, and then you go back bot lane and you time your roam properly, and then you can pull off a successful gank and get a kill there, and now suddenly your bot lane is ahead and your mid lane is ahead, maybe even your jungler is ahead, and that's how you carry as support when you're roaming. Carrying as Soraka as an example is obviously different, but I mean, look at this synergy. I was waiting for Udyr, I walk with him, and I ping, and this is synergy. We're not duoed, but you can clearly see kind of the non-verbal communication there, based on how I moved, what I did, and where he was on the map at the time. There was that synchronization is what led to that play where we walked together, and he has that game knowledge, I have that game knowledge, like this is the right time, this is the perfect time to go bottom, and I placed the pink ward in that bush in their jungle, if you look at the minimap too, which is a very good ward, so we know they have no vision there, and it was just an opportune time, and we both understood that, and then we worked together, and through the non-verbal communication is how I would describe it. Because there is that type of communication in League, and that's why I always say play with confidence, because so much communication in League and in life in general is non-verbal. It's not what you say, it's what you do. I can't know for sure if they have vision there or not, but probably not, because I didn't see anyone walk past my pink ward. But still, Yasuo could have went into river and warded there as an example. Kaisa heals. Definitely a mistake by her. I'm not sure why she did heal. There was no threat. Vel'Koz doesn't even have R. Not sure. Just maybe just a misclick. Just trying to be unpredictable. But I also know, Vel'Koz is low, and he doesn't have his ultimate. If he did have his ultimate, then, there would be, there might be a chance to make a play, but it's just about being unpredictable, just making your enemies second guess themselves, and just not feeling comfortable, not feeling like, this Alistar is gone, we can now take advantage. No, it's not that simple. I want them to think and be uncomfortable. And then, not committing here, just trying to get them away from the dragon to let Udyr secure it. Also looking to see what Serath's reaction is, to see, if I can make a play. If he reacted more confidently, maybe if he even flashed or something like that, then I would have WQ'd and followed up. So you really need to read both your allies and your opponents and see what they're doing. Again, the synergy, the non-verbal communication. We didn't know. They could have recalled in the bush or just been in the bush, but they weren't. So, but it was still a good attempt by me and Udyr. And you want to be proactive. You want to try to do things. I mean, that's how you carry. I'm a bit careless here. Tank 2 shots, and that's definitely something. That's very bad. That really is the difference between possibly making a successful play and an unsuccessful one. I did not need to R there because I didn't have, I was not tanking the turret, but all in all, a good outcome for us, getting Pyke. And then, when you can safely get plating, you want to do that, but only if it is safe. And I mean, it's gold, and gold equals more items, and more items equals carrying. And again, we have the synergy between me and Udyr there. And Pyke wanted to get his reset, his ult reset, no doubt. But he also got the kill, so... So far, really even 9-9 kill score, and every turret in every lane is still up. So a really even game. But we did get Fiora got Herald, which is having Herald. Even without using Herald, you have pressure. The laner in their lane with the person who has Herald, they need to respect that. They need to be more aware of that. And I pink ward the bush there, and I also ignite. I really don't feel like this should have happened. This is strange to me that we lost that exchange. definitely demotivating to pull off a gank like that, and for it to turn out bad. I mean, so badly. I mean, even if Irelia had R, which he did and used, but still, strange to me that we lost that so convincingly. Even looking at the my level and Irelia's level, and the level discrepancy, which obviously accounts for base stats like health and mana, and the damage of abilities, but still, a bit strange to me that that happened. But to carry, you need to try to make things happen, and you also need to make mistakes to learn from those mistakes. And because the gank didn't work, it does mean that it's something that I'm going to be more aware of in the future. Look at the minimap and see Vel'Koz coming towards me. That was a good R by Kaisa, and maybe a bit careless by me to stand so far back, which lets her get further away when she uses her R. But it was a good attempt by me, but it could have been a bit better if I was more aware of Kaisa's R and that she would gain so much distance away from me, which surprised me at the time. But yeah. So that is, again, a mistake I made, but it's also an interaction that I learned from. Now, after that, I become more aware of Kaisa's R and the distance gap that she can cover so quickly by pressing R when she has you marked. When Pyke doesn't have his E, that's when he's vulnerable. But if he does have his E, there's no point in going in. That's how I would recommend any support to think of any matchup against Pyke. Really, as long as he has his E, he's very, very, very dangerous. His R too, but his E is really what it's about, in my opinion. Just trying to let Vel'Koz. Yeah, I think if Vel'Koz had a bit more confidence there, it would have turned out better. He would have gotten that kill. But I was just trying to set up Vel'Koz's E just to maybe let him get an easy knock up and then into his R. But maybe he was lacking a bit of confidence. He didn't know if he could trust me or not. But that is part of solo queue. So they have top turret and they have bot turret. At this stage, they definitely have more map control. We have good wave clear with Serath, obviously. His Q and W are invaluable in terms of managing waves. This is a very good position to be in as Alistar to make a play. Not sure if I needed. Yeah, that was a very bad R by Yasuo to R the Alistar, who still has his R up to get out of his ultimate and negate almost all of his damage. But yeah, a very good position to be in as Alistar to pull off those ganks. And notice this aggressive ward setup. And you also want to take the cone. That's why I'm using it that way. I don't want to position myself away too much. I just want to blow up the cone. That's why I just wanted to. Yeah, this is being unpredictable. But again, a bit careless because of her R. So I'm being unpredictable, but it was a bit careless. But doing things like that, that's how you learn. And that's, you need to try to make plays and make things happen to learn from mistakes and to learn what it does mean to carry, and what it means to not carry and to not play effectively. And that was a good play in theory, but not against Kaisa, not in that situation. And, that's something that I learned from and something that everyone can learn from to improve. And just to be more aware of interactions and just when to go in, when not to go in. But I warded aggressively to set up Baron, and now we see that Baron is going to spawn soon. And with that, warding is very important. And because I recalled, I also have new wards. I also probably bought 2 pinks, which I almost always do when I recall, and if I have the money. And I put a pink there in the pit, so we have that control. And I reward the some not too aggressively, somewhat somewhat defensively, and setting up a potential maybe righteous glory or a flash play when I get flash up with those wards. It's so important to have vision to make those big plays late in the game. Not sure what Aurelia was doing there. Our Vel'Koz is bottom lane, which is very important to keep track of. This is a good, yeah, this... I think I had my Q up there. That was bad of me not to use it. Luckily, Sarah secured it. Definitely bad of me not to react with my Q. I'm pretty sure it was up there. And that would have killed Pyke because of Baron being aggroed because of Serath poking it while Pyke was in the pit. So that was bad of me. Definitely a mistake. So I'm definitely making some mistakes here, but I am definitely also trying to actively carry, and I think it's very apparent. I think that's very apparent from how I'm playing, what I'm doing, how I'm moving around the map and ganking several lanes. And, you know, I'm really trying to carry, and, you know, that's really all you can do. You can just try. There is no, you know, set formula or you know, a theory or, you know, a specific way to carry each game. You just need to play dynamically. You need to play with flow, and you need to be proactive and constantly try things like this. And this is, you know, case in point. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Getting the kill, getting the gold, we all recall to get items, and, you know, in my case I want to replenish my wards, and dragon is also spawning, so definitely the right call. A good example of why, you know, we shouldn't push. You know, we should go back, we should buy items, get stronger. You're buying items when you have gold. You don't want to sit on too much gold, because it does, you know, make a difference in those team fights or skirmishes, because you're stronger and your teammates are stronger when they go back to buy. And when you're stronger, you can carry, you can make plays. And again, notice my ward setup. I think this is a very good ward when you're pushing against the tier 2 in the bot lane. Notice that I queued Kai'Sa as she used her R animation, so I interrupted her R animation with my Q. I am low, I have used pots, but I also need to be careful. I need to let my regen work here. Righteous Glory gives a regen, and you know, I want to make use of that, and also I want to make use of my passive to get my health back up here. Very important. Don't want to go in when you're too low, and definitely don't want to let Pyke get resets. I'm waiting for the right time here to go in, and this is, without question, the right time. Getting the heal from Firazar. I was, you know, 50% health, and I wanted to wait for the right time. And Yasuo R'ing, I definitely should not have pink warded. That was probably just a misclick. But yeah, Yasuo, when Yasuo uses his R, you know, he is vulnerable. He's in a state where he cannot move, he cannot do anything, he's applying damage, and you know with 100% certainty what his position is going to be like. He can't flash out of his R, anything like that. So when Yasuo uses his R, he's vulnerable. I'm very low, so I need to be careful here of Pyke especially. My R, you know, is not gonna, if I am below the threshold of his R execute, then my R is not gonna matter. So it doesn't matter if I R before his R goes off. If my health is low enough, I will die 100%. So we got a lot out of that. And when we have 2 inhibitors down, the logical decision is to go for top lane, or to go for whichever lane or whichever inhibitor is not exposed and has not been taken down or destroyed. So that's what we're going to be looking to do now. possibly it's either fight or the smartest play would be to just wait for mid and bot to push in with yeah, I mean, this is a crushing victory here.